Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, walk around the neighborhood, feeling blessed.
All right, welcome back for part 2 of our Ms. Pacman tournament. Yesterday we talked about how we could take information from round 1 and sort that information into a frequency table and then display the information on a histogram. And I made a mistake. Hopefully you guys caught it. I know Cole sent me an email and I put a little note in there. I really did not want to record the entire video. So here's the changes. Basically, I accidentally said there were only, I think, 2 players that were in this interval, but turns out there were 3. So yeah, this is what the box plot would look like if we chose to have intervals of 5,000 for our scores. Now, once we got this up and running, we can look and answer these questions. Which interval had the greatest number of participants? You can see that the first interval that had from 0 to scores from 0 to 4,999 had 6 players in that, and the one that had the least was the last one, which was the 20,000 to 24,999. Only 1 person fell in that category. As far as percents are concerned, since we had 20 participants, it was really easy to figure out the percent. 6 out of 20 is 30%, 5 out of 20 is 25%, and so on and so forth. All right, so that was the box plot. Now we are going to create a circle graph. And in the past, I would have had students use like a compass or some sort of a tool that they could use to create a nice perfect circle. We would use proportional reasoning to figure out the number of degrees for each one of those wedges that corresponded to these numbers out of 20. And we could still do that, but we live in a world with technology, and it's just so much easier to use online technology to get this job done. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you a very handy website to use. Now, there's one drawback to using the website, is that I'm having you do all this work, or I'm requesting that you do all this work in your journal, and you can't copy and paste from a website into your journal. So you would have to copy it by hand, but at least you would have a visual that you could look at and try and represent it as neatly as possible within your journal. If you are doing all of this on a Google Doc instead of in your journal, that's great. You would actually be able to screenshot or download these videos. These data displays into your Google Docs. So let's go open up a browser and find my website. You may have it bookmarked, or you might have to Google it and search Mr. Aaron's class, but you'll come to this. And then let's go and navigate to MetaChart. That's the data display website that we're going to use. Now, I have never registered and logged into this website. I'm not sure if it costs any money. I think I saw somewhere in here that it is free, but I don't know that for a fact. Now, if all we're going to do is use it and then write down the information, I don't see there being any problem with just using it without registering. If I were going to actually use these charts or these diagrams or whatever, and then publish my work and have this be a part of my work, then I have to, I'd be plagiarizing basically by stealing their technology. So I'd have to give them credit for it, and I would probably also have to be registered with their site. But I'm not doing that. I'm only doing it for you, and this is all going to get deleted, so it doesn't really make any difference. Okay, so now that I've got that all qualified, there are lots of different various displays that you can use here. We are going to do the pie chart today, but you might find it interesting to come back and enter in the data from your histogram or from your frequency table into a histogram here and see what it looks like and see how it compares to the one that you created in your journal. All right, so let's go to pie chart, and you'll notice there are 4 different sections here. You got your design, your data, your labels, and then display. Once we get everything the way we like it here, we're going to click this button here, and it's going to show us what it looks like. And it's not permanent. You can always go back and change how things look as we go. So there's every single section has like a default for, you can change these if you want later, but I'm just going to leave everything here exactly how it is. Now for the data. Now for the data. Data. Come on, data. Come to me. Are you not working? What is going on? Data. Nice. Okay. Now for the data. The number of slices in your pie chart corresponds to the number of intervals you had in your frequency table and histogram. So we had 5 different intervals. So I'm going to put it like this. Those of you that had a bin width of 10,000 would only have 3 intervals. I don't know how many of you did that, if any of you did that, but if you did, this would be a 3 instead of a 5. It has to match the information that you have here. So 5 different intervals, 5 different sections or slices. These 2 sections right here, don't put anything in there right now. You're not going to put anything in this section here, but here, depending on whether you want to display the number of players or the percent, you would either put player or percent here. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do it right now. I want to display the number of players that were in each section. So what was the first section called? That was the section where we had scores between 0 and 4,000, comma, 999. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get rid of the commas. Make it easier. All right, then we went from 5,000 to 9,999. Then the next interval started at 10,000, going to 14,999. Then we had the 15,000 interval, 15,000 to 19,999. And then the last interval was the 20,000 to 24,999. Okay, so how many players scored between 0 and 4,999 points? I believe that was 6 people. How many scored in the 5,000 to 9,999 range? I believe that was 5 people. How many people scored in this range? I think that was 3, right? That was the one that Cole had told me I got wrong. I said 2 before, but it's supposed to be 3. And this interval here had 5 people, and the last interval only had 1 person in that section. All right, now for labels. It is always a good idea. This probably isn't important if you're just copying this into your journal, but all data displays should have a label at the top, a title. And so this is the Ms. Pacman Tournament results. And it wasn't for all 4 rounds, it was just for round 1. So let's put round 1. Okay. Now, what does this look like? At any point, you can put this in, and the only thing I don't like about this is 1 players just bugs me, but whatever, we can leave it like that. There's no way to have these all be plural and then that's singular. Notice how when you scan over it, how it automatically tells you what the percents are. So we can verify that we got all of our percents here correct just by scrolling over top of this. All right, so that's a nice plain circle graph. Now let's go back and see, what if we had changed? What if I'd put like gradient color in there? How would that change it? Okay, yeah, I kind of like it. It's a little bit nicer. What if we decided to do it 3D instead of normal? What would that look like? Beautiful, I like that. If I were putting that on a really nice like PowerPoint presentation, I might have it look like this. Since you're going to be drawing this into your journals most likely, you might find this sort of elliptical shape from it looking 3D-ish to be harder to do. So maybe it's better to just go back to the normal, but I'll keep the gradient. And you could explore different background and border colors if you want. One other thing is, see the theme here? This is just a very basic theme, right? But if you wanted to make it dark blue, that's nice. What would dark green look like? Okay, not bad. Dark Unica. Oh, that's nice. I'm gonna stick with that one. All right, so if you wanted to copy this down, put it in your journal, that's great. If you want to go back to your data and change it so that these values here are your percents and change this to a percent symbol instead of players, you could do that. although since it already has the percents there when you scroll over it, but then you wouldn't be able to see that when you copy and paste it. So you decide how you want to label each one of those with either the number of players or percents. Doesn't make any difference to me. All right, so this last part, if you do decide to register for this and it turns out it doesn't cost you any money, you can download this and then copy and paste it into a Google Doc or into any other PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to use my cheatin'. Oh, that's not right. Let's get a new one. I'm going to get my cheatin' snipping tool, and I'm going to stop it. Where'd it go? Oh, I got to hit new. Okay, so I'm going to find. Does that look nice and symmetrical? I think it does. Very nice. A little bit higher, maybe. Okay, and then I can copy this. Control C. And I get to paste it. Ooh, that's too big. Yeah, there we go. And there's a circle graph for round 1 of our Ms. Pac-Man tournament. So have fun with that. Play around, change the color schemes if you want, change the design if you want. You may even decide to Google a different type of a online program for making circle graphs and get something that's super cool that nobody else has. You decide how you want to set this up, but that's the basic process that we're going to be going through for this display. And tomorrow, we're going to work on finding the mean, median, mode, and range for all 4 rounds. Now, thankfully, everybody has completed round 2, and we've got 4 top scores. I'm going to let you know who those. In fact, maybe I'll send out an email tonight to have those 4 players play round 3, and then give me your scores so that we can get the 2 finalists to play in round 4 to see who our champion is going to be. But in order to do the work that we need to do on is it Wednesday? Yeah, can't remember what today is. Today's Monday. On Wednesday, when we do part 3, we need to have all the data for all 4 rounds. And so hopefully we'll get that in order. If not, maybe we'll do a switch and we'll do part 4 because you only need rounds 1 and round 2 to do this parallel box plot. But I'd rather do this in order. So those of you that are still playing, please make sure you get those scores into me. All right. Thank you so much. And good luck on everything. I hope you're enjoying this. I kind of find this to be a fun little project. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
Hey,